Welcome once again to the City of Maple Grove Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from CCX Media. Thanks for joining us, along with Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
We've got a lot to talk about from the meeting from May 1st, plus some items later in the show of things coming up in the city. Number of items pulled from consent. Let's begin with Emerald Ash Borer. There's a replacement program that residents should know about.
Yeah, so we are adding this into our Emerald Ash Borer program, a tree voucher program, or to replace a tree that the city may have removed in the right-of-way that would be kind of part of somebody's yard. So if residents who had a tree, an ash tree, removed in their yard as part of our EAB program, they can receive a voucher to get a free tree through our tree sale program. They would have to plant it, and we encourage them to plant it elsewhere in their yard. Today our recommendations is, at least 10 feet behind the sidewalk edge, just to kind of stay out of that boulevard for snow plowing and curb interference, sidewalk interference type issues with roots. But up to the landowner to plant it, and of course it's a different species of tree. We have a variety of recommended tree species that we now use throughout the community, and so if residents are interested in that, we're going to be getting some information out to those that have been impacted by that, so that they can access that tree voucher program.
Very nice. MapleGroveMN.gov will give you that website throughout the program. You can find a lot of information there. Another item pulled from consent was K9 Calo retiring.
Yeah, so sweet K9 Calo is going to be hanging it up here. He very hard charging, hard driving dog, and has suffered with almost like a carpal tunnel type of situation in his front left paw is kind of turned out. I saw some pictures the other day. Usually wears a little brace to kind of keep things in line, but he's been in service now for almost 6 years, and that's pretty much kind of the average life of a canine. It's they tend to be, pretty high driving dogs and wear themselves out over a short period of time. So we're going to be, retiring Calo from the unit, and then that transfer of ownership of Calo goes to the handler, to Sergeant Keith Stewart. So once a canine dog like that has established a relationship with a handler, they're really not suitable, to adopt out as a pet or anything to a family. They really need to stay with that handler and have that ongoing relationship. And so that ownership will go to Keith Stewart. We're going to hopefully get his foot fixed up before Keith takes him home.
Good.
And then we'll be swearing in our new canine here coming in June. Judd and Officer Huso are down at the St. Paul Canine Program training program right now. It's a very intense, about 3-month training program, and their graduation will be at the end of May, and so we'll be looking forward to getting to know Judd here as we move into the summer months.
Other items pulled from consent on May 1st. We have 3 events coming up, proclamations. So number 1 is Light the Night for Fallen Firefighters. What is that week, and what can residents do, and what's the city going to be doing? Yeah,
so this is May 4th through the 7th, and we will be lighting up the town green red, and this is in honor of Night for Fallen Firefighters, but also in memory of firefighter Mike Piter from our department, who served at Station 5, was also a full-time St. Paul Fire Department, who died of cancer a number of years ago, and so we always want to keep his memory and in our work at the fire department, and certainly his family. And now we've created an annual service award in his name for the fire department. So this is in a broader recognition, of course, for fallen firefighters across the country, but with special recognition for firefighter Mike Piter. And this is May 4th through the 7th. Town green will be lit up red, but also we encourage homeowners, can go get a red bulb at the hardware store and light up your home for firefighters as well.
All right. Next proclamation was National Night Out. We're having you think ahead here till August. Tell us what this big event is and what people can get on their calendar.
Yeah, so National Night Out, it's always the first Tuesday in August, and this year it falls on Tuesday, August 1st. We will have the kind of community picnic kickoff during the daytime hours from 11 to 1 at the community center that day, and then in the evening we will be having the city crews, so fire, public works, police. We get some community organizations with us as well. We'll be going out to all of the neighborhood parties, and most years we have upwards of nearly 200 parties throughout the community.
Right.
This is a very well-recognized program, award-receiving program throughout the country. Todd Strigi, our crime prevention specialist, leads this up and does a great job. And so people can go online and register their party. I think there's some contests or things where you might get a prize pack to help support your party, that type of thing. And if you don't have a neighborhood watch program in your neighborhood, this is a great time to think about doing that, adding that in, get together with your neighbors, make some outreach to Todd Strigi and see how you might get that established and be part of not only that Crime Watch program throughout the year, but also the National Night Out event in August.
Very good. All right, that is coming up in August. Now let's move back to May. Peace Officers Memorial Day and then Police Week, and you're going to want a different light bulb for this week. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we're keeping the hardware stores busy here.
Yes.
May 15th is Peace Officers Memorial Day, and I think, you know, especially important every year, but this year with the loss of the officers that we've experienced in Minnesota and Wisconsin nearby, I think holds a special meaning, especially this year. And then May 14th through May 20th is Police Week, and so we'll be lighting Uptown Green Blue that day in honor of this, and again encourage folks in the community to think about lighting up blue as well. And we do know that Hardware Hank, Home Depot, Jerry's Do It Best Hardware, Lowe's, and Menards all have a stock of those blue light bulbs. I'm guessing they have the red ones as well, but just support our local businesses here and support local law enforcement as well.
Very nice. All right, moving ahead, the council adjourned for a few minutes to go to EDA. What was the purpose of that special meeting?
Yeah, so this is kind of the continuation of the Arbor Lakes Business Park development. This was for building number 7. So this is sort of assigning that tax increment agreement, those revenues, as they move into their permanent financing for that project. So kind of a routine business, but something the EDA has to take action on.
All right, back to the council, community and economic development items, and number 1 on the list was Rush Hollow. Again, we've talked about this multiple times. It is now back, and there's some new information here. Bring us up to date.
Yeah, so this is a project that was in front of the council last October a few times. Quite a bit of discussion about this, just in terms of lot size, the housing types, those types of things. The council kind of landed at the end. There was a lot of discussion about, you know, small lot, single family, that type of thing, and the product that they sort of landed on for these 60 lots, which is just a portion of the lots of this development. The balance is there's some townhomes, single family, and then a senior cooperative as well. But the small lot, single family, about 60 lots, and the direction that the council landed on was that they would be a villa type product and be 55 plus targeted to kind of meet that need in the community. Pulte brought that through at the time, and now is wanting to sell those lots to David Weekley Homes, and David Weekley came back to staff and wanted to look at some alternative housing types, including more of a 2-story type model. And so needed to bring that back to council because it wasn't really in conformance with what had been approved in that final part of the plan. And so David Weekley had provided some new renderings and kind of a layout for, nothing would change with really the lot configuration or size or number, but really just kind of the housing type would change there. So council had some good discussion with the builder or with the developer here, and wasn't real supportive of making that change. Offered that, you know, we could table this and you could kind of come back, go back to the drawing board and come back to us, and David Weekley Homes chose that. So this one didn't get approved. You know, the general feedback from the council was they weren't supportive of that change to that housing type, and so we'll see if David Weekley comes back with anything or if we continue on with what was prescribed in the original approvals.
Very good. We'll keep you up to date on that. Now, report of upcoming items in this area, and we've got some fun business news. Tell us about some of the new places we can go and shop and eat.
Right. So we have the new Dunkin' opened at the corner of Weaver Lake Road and Elm Creek Boulevard. You see there at the Homestead Corner Mall, which had recently had some facade improvements. Looks really nice, refreshed there. So I've seen the drive-through line busy already this week, but it seems to be functioning pretty well. You kind of wrap around the building there at the edge of the parking lot, and so that drive-through is closest to Elm Creek Boulevard there at that corner. So this is the second Dunkin' in Maple Grove. They have, of course, the location up on Zachary and 610, and this new one here. So encourage you to visit the new Dunkin' in town. I've heard the donuts are real good too.
Excellent.
And then Rojo Mexican Grill, which is over at the shops. It's in the former Patrick space, if you're familiar with that kind of kitty corner now to what Flora Floor and Decor there where the old theater was. They opened on April 17th. I was actually there for dinner last weekend. It was quite delicious and and very busy. You know, they made some changes to the interior space there, and I know they're working on, they're going to have an outdoor patio. If you recall, Patrick's had a patio out there just to the kind of the western edge of that, and so they'll be having that as well. So pretty exciting to have Rojo Mexican Grill in town.
Fantastic.
And then kind of the other end of the business is we're going to be celebrating a ribbon tying event for Mark Michael Diamond Design. So if you're familiar with their location right on Main Street, they are going to be closing their doors after 23 years in Maple Grove, and this ribbon tying event will be taking place on May 9th to commemorate their time here in Maple Grove and the Mark Michael brand. So we're looking forward to celebrating that with them.
Final notes, a couple meetings coming up, Planning Commission coming up on May 8th, and one big topic for that meeting.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing some training, safety training with our Planning Commission, as well as we have the development proposal over the last piece of the Silver Creek area, Silver Creek on Main. There's one kind of sliver of land in the middle to the east of the existing building, between that and the Applewood Point Co-op there, and so they're bringing forward a cottages proposal, so sort of a small lot, you know, type of a small cottage type product that would have access to all the services in Silver Creek on Main and kind of that continuum of care that's available there. So Planning Commission will hear that on May 8th, and then we do have Arbor Committee meeting on May 11th that week as well.
Let's jump to Engineering and Public Works update at the May 1st meeting. Emerald Ash Borer talked about again, and you have a neat tool at the city that will help people understand all of the work you're doing.
Yeah, so we've been tracking all of our work around EAB in it's kind of an asset management system called Cartograph, and it has sort of a mapping interface with it as well, so we can sort of map out these things and understand where the work is being done. But it tracks kind of where we're treating trees and where we've been removing trees, and so back to that voucher program, if folks are interested, they can kind of go look on that map and see, you know, is the tree that was removed there, you know, that's something that was removed by the city. So yeah, great tool that's available to residents to kind of see how we're approaching it. We are doing quite a bit of treatment in the city of trees. You know, I think the jury's still out on what's the long-term, you know, impact of that. Will we save those trees over a long, you know, time frame? But you know, a lot of really significant ash trees in the community that are quite beautiful, and so if we can save some of them before they're too affected, I think that was the approach. So lots of information in that interactive map.
Yep. Website again, maplegrovemn.gov. You can find out that information. Also find out information about this next item, spring cleanup time. 2 big events coming up.
Yeah, so we have our spring cleanup events. Curbside pickup is Monday, May 15th. You can place items at the curb at 7 a.m. You have to prepay and register to do that. So we need to know that you're going to be setting out items, and we need to arrange that ahead of time. And you can contact the city's engineering department by May 11th to set that up. And then cleanup day is Saturday, May 20th, and that's the drop-off portion, and that is from 8 a.m. to noon at the Public Works facility on Forest View Lane. Payment for any of the items that they're charged for are done at the event that day. And information on our website about the kind of materials that are accepted, and then if there's a cost associated with any of them. Typically old appliances, tires, scrap metal, those types of things are what we accept at those events.
Okay, very good. Next event is street sweepers. They're out in mass. In fact, 480 hours.
Yeah.
They really spend a lot of time. Why is this so important?
Yeah, so 8 street sweepers spent 480 hours, and I didn't write down the number, but it was a pretty remarkable number on the tonnage of the material we took off the streets. You know, I think it's the aesthetic cleanup of them certainly is one aspect, but the bigger benefit is, you know, what goes into our storm system. So any type of, you know, salt that's left, or, you know, rocks that accumulate on the street over the winter months, or garbage, those types of things, we try to get in and get those out of there so they don't end up in our storm ponds. And, you know, eventually those things make their ways to creeks and lakes and rivers and those types of things. And so we want to make sure that we're managing what's going into those storm ponds as best we can. So that work is pretty much complete. I think we can safely put away the plows now.
Nice.
So I think we're officially making the change of seasons with Public Works.
And here's another sign of that. Weight restrictions are off, so that
Yes.
means now the trucks are really going to come out and construction will get underway.
Yeah, I think in the coming weeks here, we're really going to see construction take off. There's a lot of really big infrastructure projects, and then just in general, you know, the continued build out of the community development in general. I think going to be a busy construction season this year.
You had a few final notes at the meeting, one of an event that happened yesterday as
Yeah.
we're recording this on Wednesday, and another coming up tomorrow. Tell us about those.
Yeah, so we had our reconvene for the Board of Appeal and Equalization last evening. About 22 properties that the council dealt with last night. Many of those property owners that come in for appeal, you know, they'll work things out with the assessor and come to an agreement, and so then some of those are already pre-agreed to. But we had about 22 that were open that the Board of Appeal needed to make a decision about. So moved through that business last night, and so that completes our Board of Appeal and Equalization process for this year, which deals with, you know, the property tax valuations for taxes payable in 2024.
Right. Okay.
So that process is now complete. I should say you do have the opportunity to go on to the county if you know, weren't
Okay.
satisfied with what happened here at the Board of Appeal. You can go on to the county, and that process happens in June, but you do need to register with the county. I think the deadline for that is like May 17th, but that information certainly available at our city assessor's office, but also Hennepin County.
Right. Another note is coming up tomorrow on Thursday, May 4th, is the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast, the annual event.
Yeah, this is our annual event here. We hold it out at Rush Creek. It'll be tomorrow morning, May 4th on Thursday at 7:15 a.m. and really a great event for the community. The entire faith community here in Maple Grove comes out and shares fellowship that morning, and we have a great speaker and some good music and share some breakfast as well. So Thursday, May 4th at Rush Creek at 7:15 a.m. and this is kind of the timing of the year that we do this event every year now that we're post-pandemic. And so if folks are interested for future years, kind of keep that date in mind.
Sounds great. All right, that wraps up the meeting from the first. Now let's go to some other things happening in the city. You might want to get a notepad out to jot down some of these dates and times. Number one is some news about recycling and yard waste. You want to make sure residents know where to go or maybe not to go.
Right, yeah. So we are going to be permanently closing the recycling drop-off center on Fernbrook Lane as of June 1. We do have signage posted at that site. We're going to be redirecting folks to the Hennepin County Drop-Off Center, which is located just kind of on the border between Brooklyn Park and Maple Grove. Kind of a duplication of services, and we're going to be looking at that corner site there to think about maybe repurposing that real estate. And so that recycling center will be closing as of June 1.
Okay.
And then just to not confuse folks, the yard waste site remains open and there for you, nothing changing there, and that's drop off for leaves, grass, those types of things. And the site is open now through November, and you just need to have your driver's license to prove you know, your Maple Grove residency.
All right, looking ahead to the end of May, it will be Public Works Week, May 21st through the 27th. Why is this an important week, and what's the theme this year?
Yeah, so National Public Works Week, May 21st through the 27th, and this designation comes through the American Public Works Association. The theme for 2023 is Connecting the World Through Public Works, with the idea that public works professionals enhance the lives of the communities they serve through varied and numerous services, and we all certainly can appreciate that, from the water we drink to the, you know, the sanitary and storm sewer systems, to snow plowing, to street maintenance, you know, maintenance of our trees and our landscape boulevards, those types of things, and our crews here in Maple Grove just do a great job. So great appreciation to them and honor for them this week in May.
Very nice. All right, controlled burns. We've mentioned this a few times. Want to again keep residents up to date of some things that'll be happening around Arbor Lakes.
Yeah, so we do this not necessarily every year, but we try to get out there every so many years to do some controlled burns to control sort of those noxious and invasive plants. So we're going to be doing this around Arbor Lake, North Arbor Lake, West Arbor Lake, Town Green, Maple Lakes Park, and Central Park. And of course, this is all subject to, you know, weather conditions. You've seen the fire warnings that have been around, and of course, this is a more controlled setting. But you really have to be careful on those days. You know, the wind is certainly a factor. So they'll be waiting to make sure that is in the right conditions to make sure that that can happen safely. We do notify the property owners, if they're adjacent to that burn property, we do notify them directly. And then just note, our fire department is kind of standing by, close by, should we have any issues. But pretty highly trained staff that come in and do these precision burns, and so look to see that. You might see some smoking in the area, and know that that's what's going on.
It is all right. Fun note here about the photo contests coming up, the time that you'll be able to enter some of the photos, but we want to encourage people just to take photos at any time of the year.
Yeah, so the photo contest opens up June 1, and photos are accepted through June 30th, and this is via an electronic portal on our city website. So we encourage folks to gather up all the photos they've taken over the past year and possibly through the winter months, and submit them, and then we go through a judging process and award those later as we get into the fall months. And just a reminder, we do use all these photos in our publications, our social media, newsletter, website, all those types of things, really to capture that, the character of Maple Grove and the beauty of Maple Grove. And so encourage people to submit their photos if they have some good ones.
Yep, they need you to help out and find those fun spots in the city. Firefighter recruitment, it is again that time of the year. You've got some events coming up to help people understand what this means.
Yeah, so we are recruiting right now for paid-on-call firefighters. The annual application period is open through July 16th. We do have a couple informational meetings planned. I think it's really important that if you're interested in joining the fire department, you try to get to one of these informational meetings. Bring your family so that they can kind of understand, what the qualifications and requirements are and what the impact to your family life might be of being a paid-on-call firefighter. Also the benefits of being a paid-on-call firefighter. So 2 information sessions are offered Saturday, June 3rd at 10 a.m. at Fire Station 2, and then Monday, July 10th at 7 p.m. at Fire Station 2, and those are both the one right off of Elm Creek Boulevard there. Registration is requested online via the Maple Grove website, and then you can also, where you go to register for one of these informational meetings, there's lots of information located there too, where you can kind of read through and maybe come with your questions prepared. But great opportunity to join the fire department here. It's a great part-time gig to add into your life. There's a great pension associated with it, and above that, just the opportunity to give back to the community, and it's great camaraderie within the fire department. So encourage people to check out that opportunity.
Yeah, take a look at that. All right, we know it is springtime because the farmers market is back outside. What's the date that we can go shop?
Yeah, we got another week to wait, but Thursday, May 11th, from 3 to 7 at the community center. This is the 19th season of the farmers market, so next year will be the big 20th anniversary. Yeah, we have over 50 vendors signed up for the outdoor season, and so some new vendors as well as a lot of returners, so it should be an exciting season.
Another event that's coming up that's a unique combination. It's called Tales and Ales. You can probably figure it out, but Heidi, help us understand what this is.
Yeah, so this is a new park and recreation event. It celebrates pets and their people. That's funny.
Nice.
I have 2 dogs, and I think they think of me as their people.
Yeah.
You come to Central Park on Saturday, June 3rd from 2 to 6. There will be a vendor show featuring local businesses with pet products, organizations, and nonprofits with various activities. Then we also have food trucks, beer trucks, and other beverages available for that day. So kind of a fun day. Encourage people to bring their pet and get some fun playtime in for them at Central Park.
Yeah, great event. All right, we go to mosquitoes now. Sorry to mention it here, but it is that time of the year that you try to prepare and maybe keep the population down.
Right.
What do you do?
Yeah, it's hard to believe that'll be upon us probably this weekend. So we work with the Metropolitan Mosquito Control District. You might see them out in your neighborhood in either a green or white truck. Sometimes they come via helicopter to drop into some ponds. Sometimes they're on bikes out there. So just know if somebody has the Metropolitan Mosquito Control District logo on their shirt, oftentimes green and white are their colors, just know that that's the work that they're out there to try to keep that mosquito population down throughout the community for the summer months.
All right, final note, look ahead to Memorial Day and a special event coming up with some special partners.
Yeah, so the Maple Grove Beyond the Yellow Ribbon program, as well as the Osseo Maple Grove American Legion Post 172 are hosting a Memorial Day event. This will be held at Central Park at the Veterans Memorial there, Monday, May 29th from noon to 1 p.m. So Veterans Day, or I'm sorry, Memorial Day event in cooperation with Beyond the Yellow Ribbon and the Legion.
All right, hope you can get out there. Heidi, thanks for all the information today.
You're
A
welcome.
lot passed along, so let's get you to the website here because you might need to go there to remind yourself about a few of the items. And also, you'll take a look here at the next council meeting that is coming up. It will be on May 15th at 7:30 at the Government Center. Bottom of the screen, you see the phone number and also the website, maplegrovemn.gov. You can find out all the information about events we mentioned or some of the things that are coming up in the city. For Heidi Nelson again, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the City of Maple Grove Report.